Hello and welcome to the first episode of Design Hustle, where we intend to talk about a bunch of different aspects related to design, whether it's art or product or content creation or even creative and design thinking for that matter. Over the so many years dabbling in a bunch of different creative things behind the camera, I thought it's finally time for us to summon the courage and come in front of the camera to share with all you folks all our experiences and learnings in a bunch of different hustles over the years. That list goes on, and we'll save it for some other day. But in today's first episode, what I mainly wanted to talk about was how you can go about creating original content. So the reason why I thought this would be a good topic for the very first episode was because this was a question that was in my head also when I first started writing content a year ago. Of course, we've handled a bunch of different social media accounts for clients in and out of our daily jobs over the years, including, say, video-based platforms like YouTube. But despite that, the question still did come to mind when it was time for us to start making our own content. So I thought it'd be good to show you all exactly how we went around coming up with these different topics for our channel and how we intend to create original content going forward. And maybe there's a thing or two that you could also pick from it. Alright, so diving right into the meat of things. It goes without saying, right? Crafting original content is about bringing your own unique perspective and ideas to life. There are a few ways by which you could go about doing it. First off, the obvious. Start off by tapping into your own interests and expertise. For example, on our channel, Design Crescendo, we intend to talk about anything and everything that interests us and that we like, whether it's film, whether it's about design principles for products, whether it's about editing, whether it's about helping freelancers with a tip or two on how to set their portfolios, it doesn't really matter. These are all the things that we like and we feel could bring value to somebody else watching. And it doesn't really matter if there are a bunch of legends out there who know everything. We also know there are a bunch of people out there who shouldn't be making the same mistakes that we did when we had just started off with our creative endeavors early on. So yeah, we just listed out a bunch of things that, we generally found interesting, and that kind of ensured that the content that we create would also be as authentic as possible. I mean, personally, that's a principle that I've lived with forever, to be as 100% as you possibly can. Right, so once you've kind of figured out what you want to talk about, next is how you want to talk about it. And communication, of course, is the key over here. This, is a little tricky for me because I like making long-ass convoluted sentences, and I know I need to kind of tone that aspect down a little bit, probably talk a little slower, plus the incessant abusing that I'm trying really hard to control myself from spitting out right now. But the idea is to make sure that you keep your language as simple as possible so that as many people who are reading or consuming this content can connect with it. Then of course, it's all about growing your content across these different platforms, right? Which requires you to comment, connect, and collaborate. Again, this is something that I probably am not the best at, and that's why Pranay comes in with all his expertise. But the idea is, of course, to connect with as many people in the same realm and sphere as you, kind of collaborate with them, draw inspiration from them for your own content, or get together and create new original content. It all boils down to the fact that creating original content is a chance to contribute something new to any conversation. And your insight could actually inspire and educate others, so you shouldn't be too afraid of putting it out there. And the more authentic you are, that passion about your content really comes out, and you attract like-minded individuals in the bargain. Alright, now that we've seen how you could go about identifying what content you want to talk about, here's a little bit about how you could present that content on screen, right? And this is where creating your own style comes in. So ideally, you want to bring a bunch of these different key elements together so that you could craft your own personal aesthetic. And these different things are color palette, typography, audience, structure, shapes, very broadly, very crudely put. So permeate and combine with all these different elements as much as possible till you find what works best for you. It's about playing with color contrast, fonts, layout norm, and blending different shapes together that you think would appeal to your audience. Don't forget, at the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself, and it's very important to embrace that individuality. Of course, you want to draw inspiration from other people, folks who are creating content very similar to you so that you could draw some inspiration. But at the end of the day, it has to be as unique to you as possible, which kind of relates to the macro aspect of what we're talking about, which is creating original content at the end of the day. Don't forget that your style is an evolving masterpiece, if I want to put it with some drama out there. And of course, there would be subsequent videos where we talk about all these different aspects in more detail, typography, palette, shape, yada yada that we just discussed. And this is just to give you a little bit of an essence of what kind of things that you need to think of when you craft your own style. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, once you've kind of figured out something for yourself, you don't necessarily need to stick with that. Improving with feedback, improving with how you are changing over time, and ensuring that your style keeps up with the same. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, and hopefully picked a thing or two from it that could help you with your hustle as well, don't forget to subscribe and share the video with others. Peace out and see you in the next one.